Okay, so we are back on track B for an exciting expert talk. You are going to be hearing how to create, manage, and motivate high-performing teams. Within this session, you're going to join our speakers who are going to discuss the benefits of agile learning first of all, and then developmental practices focused on team coaching. So, if you're into team coaching, you're in the right place, and it is my pleasure to welcome to HR Week 2023 our speakers for this expert talk. Sandra Savanović-Stevanović, consultant for organizational development.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Thank you for joining HR Week. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. And the host who is going to be diving us deep into this topic and sparking this discussion, Maša Vlahović, Head of Strategy and Program Innovation at Life&Mind Studio.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here as well.
Lovely to see you again, Maša. I'm sure the two of you are ready. I'm sure you have exciting content prepared. I know Maša is always ready. So, welcome both to HR Week 2023. Off you go with your session. I'm just going to stay to see if the audio is okay for both of you, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you here.
Okay, no problem. Off you go. See you a bit later.
Thank you. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to our session. First of all, I have to say thank you to Sandra for joining me and agreeing to actually participate and have this discussion with me. I think it's a great honor, and I think you will be able to see that she has the time today to devote to us and to share her knowledge and expertise when it comes to organizational development. As all of you know, HR Development Day is everything about team coaching, learning and development practices, and everything that's agile, that's focused on people, but their development and the development of organization as well. So we're going to be talking about team coaching and current learning and development practices and trends that are happening in the industry. And first of all, I want to ask Sandra to introduce herself because I don't want to steal your spotlight. I don't want to miss any information on what you're doing and what your expertise is. So what would you say to someone who doesn't know you? Who are you?
Oh, it's a hard question. I prefer that somebody else gives me an intro. I would say I'm entrepreneur. I'm a coach and trainer, more or less, even more actually, facilitator, and in my private time, a globetrotter. So I enjoy going around the globe.
Absolutely. And thank you for that because when I mention your name to someone, I think people always perceive you as a trainer or a learning and development expert. But I think there's a lot of interesting things behind that title. And I have to say, without any bias, honestly, that you're one of the greatest experts in the industry. And I was very glad to have you as a mentor when it comes to my personal development and my professional development. So I know we're going to have a great time talking about the topic today. So first of all, I'm going to kick off the conversation with asking you about the situation in the learning and development sector today in our region, let's say in the Balkans. What do you see as some of the most interesting trends, or let's say some of the changes that have been made since COVID happened?
Even maybe a little bit before COVID, I think that actually one big, good, excellent news is that everybody now is in organizational development. Everybody is now engaged in learning and development, and it's really big news, and it's something really different compared to something like 10 years ago. I mostly work with SME sector, and nowadays you don't have any SME any longer that doesn't want to be included in L&D in this or that way. That's really something new because previously it was more or less reserved for big corps, maybe for NGO sector and so on and so forth. Now everybody's in learning and development. What COVID brought is changes and development in the way that we learn and develop itself, ourselves, and teams and organizations. So that's maybe the biggest difference. But development is here, and I think it's to stay.
Yeah, definitely. And I would agree on that because I think COVID, the best thing that happened with COVID, honestly, is the accessibility of learning and development.
Oh, yes.
But on the other hand, when we're talking about everything that happens regarding quality, regarding interaction, regarding actually integrativeness of the material learned, I think it also has some cons. And that's why I think learning and development is such a hot topic when we're talking about SMEs in the region, because they think, and now that it's very accessible, that each and every training or coaching or any initiative is actually good.
Yeah.
So, in regards to that, I wanted to ask you, in your practice, in your experience until now, do you think that training is the best way to go in each and every situation? I'm generalizing, but in that sense, do you think that we might still have stigma when it comes to introducing team coaching or individual coaching, executive coaching in organizations, especially SMEs?
I don't know what to say. Actually, I would say that, of course, training is not the only and the one solution for everything. And I would also say what you said, what is something difficult, what are challenges we are facing. I had one mentor of mine 20 plus years ago, and there was his famous saying. He said, little knowledge is too dangerous. And I would say this is maybe the biggest con right now in our industry, because people think it's easy to learn and to develop him or herself and others, especially others. So everybody is in it. And also, it's kind of a fashion. We know when we analyze, we see a trend, but there are still SMEs and in general businesses that sees development as one-off thing. So they hire and they say, okay, everybody is in some kind of learning and development. Let me try with something. Oh, what's the most popular thing in the market? Oh, agile. Okay, let's go for the agile. And who is the best in agile? I don't know. Maša. How much is Maša? X. Oh, too much. Let's take Sandra. Sandra is 10% of Maša, And then what happens? You don't have the outputs and outcomes you wanted, because of course you didn't have any planning, you didn't have any assessment, you didn't have anything. You have disappointed the buyers. When I say buyers, the management and the owners of the businesses, and your beneficiaries, meaning the training participants. And then what happens? You say, oh, training is a really bad thing, or you say, I don't have money, this is enough. And it was then just a drop in a big desert. So I think there should be a systemic approach to learning and development. And I think that's what COVID and these post-COVID things and the crisis learned us, that we have to be systemic about it. And of course, the training is not a solution for everything. There is not, in medicine, you don't have one pill for every condition. So of course, and that's for you study for it for decades to be a good doctor, MD. So you really have to put your effort to know your business, and it's also in our profession. So that's why we have trainers, we have facilitators, we have consultants, we have counselors, we have mediators, we have coaches, we have, and then you have then team coaches, and then people specialize, mentors, reverse mentors, job shadowers. So there are so many things that you have, and that everybody, each of that professions are actually contributing to development of individuals, teams, and organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree on that, because I think diversification of learning and development experts is something that we don't actually talk about enough when it comes to the Balkan region. I'm sticking to the Balkan region for everyone listening to us currently, because I think when you go onto LinkedIn, let's say, and you scroll on the homepage and you look what companies are doing, what the HR professionals are doing, you will see that the majority of learning and development initiatives are regarding workshops, small trainings, or actually short-term trainings. And you usually see those hot topics, as you mentioned, agile. We can mention, assertive communication. We can mention, the topics.
Feedback, team,
Culture.
whatever. Team development, team bonding, your communication in general. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and
Leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's always a need for those trainings, but not
Of
at the
course.
same time and not at every stage of maturity of the company or the team. And last year, when we had our trainers training in Life&Mind Studio, we had experienced somewhat of a shock when people were actually, let's say, disregarding the fact that you cannot actually integrate, let's say, only training into every or each stage of team development. And people didn't actually perceive that as an important aspect of learning and development. And now, regarding that fact, I wanted to ask you, do you think that there's a stigma or, let's say, a bad approach or a bad perspective when it comes to integrating team coaching as a learning and development practice?
I'm not sure that people actually know. Not so many people know what is team coaching.
Yeah,
So I would say maybe this is the biggest confusion in the market. What is difference between, I would say, workshop versus training versus presentation versus facilitation versus team coaching?
yeah,
Of course, big systems that really have a big L&D departments, that they have experienced staff and experienced people, participants of all these learning and development formats, that's okay. But in small businesses, they don't differentiate that.
yeah.
And they just go for a buzzword. And I would say,
Mm,
yeah. So we are in 2023, almost 2024. Knowledge is one click away or one prompt away. So the knowledge itself, it's not that much an issue any longer, but skills and especially how to say the reinforcement of those skills and competencies are an issue or issues and will stay for a long time. So they say, okay, so I want something issue as a skill based, and they don't care is it this or that. So in practice, when I come and I say, people, for example, say to me, oh, we had a great team coaching, the coach gave us so many advices, and
yeah,
we know advising should not be the part of the coaching work. And then maybe you think that people maybe didn't understand, so you ask for more details, and you then understand. Do you understand that people had really good and high quality consultancy session or advising session, but not team coaching? So
yeah,
yeah. So currently, team coaching is a buzzword. And wherever you go, they said, oh, we are sick of knowledge. Leave us the knowledge. We have all the knowledge, or I will go and give them the books, or they can go watch some, I don't know, reels or videos, or they read books or whatever. I want skills. Coaching will help us. Coaching is not for skill development. Let's imagine I want to learn Hungarian language. There is no coaching in the world that will teach me Hungarian language. I have to go to language course. Of course, I can use individual or group coaching to help me achieve my learning goals. That's okay. But also, as training is not a unique or a universal cure, so is not the individual or team coaching. And
yeah.
that's currently what we are facing in the market.
Absolutely. That misconception that you're talking about, I think, is the most important, let's say, aspect why people actually choose training over coaching because they don't have that basic knowledge that differentiates actually the two aspects. So, training is somewhere where we develop skills, we get new knowledge, but coaching is much more towards integrating those skills, integrating those knowledges into actually achieving a certain goal, whether it's a team goal or an organizational goal, no matter the fact. So when we're
May
talking
I, may
about
I even little bit correct you? Even a
yeah,
training, even a definition of the training says it's a learning event for the purpose of presenting the
yeah,
best practices in a certain field, giving a participant an opportunity to try it and motivate them to continue practicing after the training. So even the training is not about the learning.
Yeah.
I'm trainer for, a month ago it was 23 full years. Now it's 24th year that I'm professional business trainer. And when I deliver training of trainers, I'm very honest. I cannot teach you anything. I can present you the standards of my profession, even the better and best practices. I
Yeah.
can give you the situation where you can have a feeling, so exercises, how it looks like in real life. And my task is also to motivate you to continue developing yourself in that field. But I'm not responsible for your learning, not to mention the coaching. So
Absolutely.
you said that the training is for learning, not the training event itself. It's just the
Yeah.
basis so that you go out of the training and you continue practicing until you become apprentice, and then until you become I don't know, professional, and at the end you become a master of a certain skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for actually correcting me because I think that's the most important thing, because I think training to every person now sounds like, a magic potion. I'm going to give you a magic potion and then you're going to know how to
Oh
communicate,
no.
how to be a business expert, how to be successful and everything else. I'm making a joke and a clear stance here. But on the other hand, I think learning in an environment such as training is somewhat of a elementary school experience. When they first day you come to the first grade actually, and your teacher comes and gives you like a stack of books this big, and she says we're gonna be learning this. Okay, but I have to go home and actually learn that. I have to go home and explore and get that knowledge. You're only just passing it with the experience and with the insights you have from the industry.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. That's a very good point and very
Yeah.
important point. You said something about the SMEs and you said something about big systems, and I think that's very important as well. Because when we're talking about big corporations, multinationals that we have in Serbia, we have in the region as well, we're talking about somewhat of a giant with a lot of allocated resources and a lot of resources that need to be allocated. And when we're talking about SMEs, we know that there's scarcity. There's scarcity with people, there's scarcity with money, with intangible
Of course.
resources. So I think when
All
if the
resources, yes.
yeah, if we say that a director or an executive from an SME is listening to us currently, what would you say is your advice outside of the coaching, training, and everything else? What do you think is the best way to step towards actually creating a learning and development plan with limited resources?
I would say three words: strategic, systemic approach. So first, and that's actually should be a good coaching session. If there is just one executive, that could be a good business coaching session or a business coaching program. If there is a group of executives or managers who make a decision on development of the employees of SME, then it could be a good team coaching or group coaching session. So to discuss what are the objectives, what they want to accomplish with certain training program, how they want to do it, who they will include, what are the alternatives, and the bottom line, why they want to. So what is the value behind it? Why is it important for them? And then go through the regular coaching process to get the action plan at the end. What is very interesting, actually, that they can get it. This they can do by themselves with really very little support, or there are so many professionals who will do those kind of talks with them really pro bono.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So just a little, so just not to jump at every opportunity or to do what everybody is doing. I would just say do it systemically and do it strategically. And there are so many options, there are so many alternatives, opportunities. So I think that's something I would recommend for, and that's what I recommend for to SME every day when I work with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's important when you said there's experts that are gonna come to you and talk to you pro bono,
Exactly.
actually finding the need, finding what the organization actually wants, what its strategic goal is, what is its strategic path, market positioning, everything. I think we also have the tendency to stick a band-aid over a bullet hole. And
Exactly.
in yeah, in that sense, we're doing trainings, we're doing hot topic trainings, and we're actually not solving the most important issues that we have within organizations. So yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you, Sandra.
Yeah,
And in order to wrap up and allow Alexandra to actually ask
of course.
a few questions from the audience, I'm going to ask you, for all of the
Please.
skeptics out there that do not know the value of team coaching, because they usually look at return on investment, which can not very easily be measured when it comes to team coaching. What do you think is the best value, the most important value that team coaching brings to organizations?
Uh, I would say two, but they're
Yeah,
interlinked. It's
absolutely.
motivation of the team of the participants in the team coaching session, and the very clear action plan what you are going to do regarding the team coaching topic.
Perfect, perfect. I wouldn't have said it any otherwise.
Yeah.
So thank you very much on that. I'm gonna let Alexandra ask us a few questions.
Yes, please.
Hello, welcome back.
Hi.
I know this is a very insightful topic. We should probably prolong the time for expert talks later week in the future.
Absolutely. If I
Yeah,
can
but
steal a minute of your attention, I'm sorry. I just wanted to refer to the sentence that you just said. For all of our Serbian-speaking listeners, we have a podcast. Sandra and I actually filmed an episode on team coaching values, everything personal, professional development-wise. So you can search it up on YouTube. It's called Idimi Dojimi, and you can hear more about this topic. Yeah, Alexandra, sorry.
amazing. So off to me, back to me. I have a couple of questions, but I think we
Please.
only have. Okay, we'll see what we are going to go through in the next 3 minutes. One of the questions was, what would be potential blockers of introducing coaching for the first time in any organization?
Uh, very poor buyout and extremely poor selling of the coaching. So just doing because everybody is doing that with no clear objective, with not informing people what you are going to do, with people don't know, with false expectations like you will get the one size fits all, the silver bullet for everything. That's actually the worst thing that you can do with the coaching. And also what is very pleased, I'm very pro professionalism in our profession. Please check the references of the people you are working with, because there is so much stigma with these life coaches that are like I don't know, whatever, selling nothing. Very not true in many cases, but still there are some people who are actually really selling nothing. So please check who are you working with.
That's a valid point there. Thank you, Sandra. We also have a question. Who would be the main ambassadors of promoting coaching in organization, in your opinion?
Head head, you know this, we have this Serbian expression, you are cleaning your fish from the tail but the smell comes from the head.
From the
So
head.
so you have to focus on the head, decision maker. It's not grassroots initiative. It's nice if it comes from the grassroots, so from the lower level of organization, but it has to come, this culture of learning and development, like any strategic decision, has to come from the above, whoever is above. It depends on, of the organization.
It all
Absolutely.
starts from the management. We could hear a couple of times today throughout the entire session that really a lot of things just come from the management,
Absolutely.
especially in terms of culture and coaching
Of
in this
course,
case.
yes, yes,
Absolutely. Even the good things and the bad things come from the head.
of course. It's
Agree on
like
that. So let's wrap up this question. I've left this question for the end purposely. Should coaching be an essential part of L&D in organizations?
depends. The organizations are so different. I'm currently in municipality of Mali Zvornik, borderline Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I had a very nice consultancy advisory session with the staff in this and the heads. So really the political administrative management of the municipality, but they're not ready for the coaching. I think that it would be very beneficial for them to set the goals for 2024, but they actually look forward consultancy. They want advices. So it's very dependent. And I have a family businesses of 2-3 members, very, how to say, eager and ready to implement the coaching culture. Yes, if it's within your values, it's in a streamlined with your values and your organizational culture, then yes, but please just analyze, consider this, and then make a decision.
Absolutely. I would just like to add, always listen to your employees and always unbiasedly observe the situation of teams and team members, because as we mentioned at some point, you gotta know the team development stages in order to know which action to actually introduce in order to have most benefits out of it. So
yeah.
Maša and Sandra, first of all, thank you for making this
thank you very much
inspiring, purposeful, and very impactful. I had to write it down. It's a really strong word. It really describes to what you did with this expert talk towards the audience. Thank you so much for attending HR Week. Maša, it's really lovely to see you again.